espresso and have woken up like 3 hours early for the market. This is like, you're lucky if you get 3 days like this per year. Lucky. This is the second. We're not going to count on luck. We're going to count on working. Double checking quickly if there was any econ data. You did. It's all right, RJ. I wonder if I was asking you something at one point and then you fell asleep. I was just trying to watch some videos to kind of like go to sleep last night, and started on TikTok and then moved over to YouTube, and I was watching something about if you start to get into chess, it's about chess, and start to see some videos with Magnus Carlsen. I think there's no doubt he's the greatest chess mind in chess mind ever. I think he goes beyond the computers. I watched a game last night. It was a blitz game. That's like a 2-minute game or 3 minute. Sometimes it can be 1, 2, or 3. It's a blitz game that went, right, 50 moves between a fellow grandmaster and him, right? And then in this tournament, he did the unthinkable. There were 9 other participants. You usually can win, lose, or draw. And in Magnus's case, he draws like 40% of the time, and he wins 50% of the time, and he loses 10% of the time or something. It's like he draws most of the time. If he's going to lose, he at least draws. That's what's very good for him competitively, right? He did the unthinkable. There were 9 opponents. He beat every single grandmaster opponent, all 9 of them, in that tournament for the first time ever. 9 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. It was basically impossible. And just on game number 2, he got 50 moves in the first minute and 50 seconds. So now each player has about 10 seconds left on their clock. He proceeded to perfectly beat the opponent in this one game in the end game, which is usually just very few pieces, and you have to move everything just perfectly and make all perfect decisions so you don't accidentally lose a pawn and then boom, you've got nothing left to work with, very few pieces left on the board. He proceeded to go 70 moves in 10 seconds of time. 70 moves. And never make a mistake in 10 seconds of total time. So, thinking ahead and ahead and ahead and ahead. And then he did a brilliant move on like move 67, where the opponent did one thing slightly a little bit unbalanced for the first time. He immediately understood it, took advantage, and won that game. Anyway, after that, I fell asleep. The guy's amazing, though. What a mind. You're talking about, since the beginning of chess, 500 years or however long it's been, there's never been a greater mind or alive during that time. You know what he said the other day? He kind of alluded to that he's not even going to play chess anymore. He sort of said, like, why should I? He said it's boring. He was at a tournament. He said it's boring. Like, once you've achieved everything, like, what's your motivation? There's no higher. It's phenomenal. The guy's fucking alive in our time. An Einstein, an Isaac Newton, a very, very important, brilliant mind. Okay, Tom Brady, yeah, but I'm talking brilliant minds here. All right, we've got 16 seconds left. Minutes left. 14 minutes to the market opens, and I got to launch another live here. You know which one? Pineapples. DX, DRTS, Veery. Release notes. The release contains performance improvements and issue fixes. Okay. Eerie, no, it's only negligibly, and not something that we are in love with. NBSC, We're scraping the bottom of the barrel now. We're down to like 10% gappers. But I'd like to see anything that's high RVOL. It is not, and maybe CDU, but it's up so minor. Oh, okay, good. So we're really cutting down on the list here. We are watching NEPT, by the way, NEPT for you day traders, intraday traders. And definitely a pivotal reversal on 1,000% RVOL. I mean, this is one. This is one that you should go after this morning. NEPT. Okay, moving on to the next stuff on our list. I already looked through everything on our list, and they're all looking good. We just have to wait for that reclaim signal. We'll be just thumbing through them all, over and over and over and over. Reclaim signals. Let's take a look at that because that's exactly what we're looking for. Pre-market, I have 6 already. Is correct. Lately, it's been putting in 8% to 12% ADR stock. The green over red entry. I mean, this is the kind of entry you wish you got on something like, what was it? Well, Jupe W would be a good example because that'll make you think twice. If you could get an entry down here at 48 cents on Jupe W for a swing trade, you'd want it. It's now at $1.28. What was that? I just lost what we were just looking at. INDP. INDP. This is a reclaim possible entry, but the average volume on that's very low, so that's a liquidity issue on that. However, a beautiful looking chart starting to form. This is the kind of chart you look back on in 3 months and go, wow, if we only knew about it way down there. Well, we do. So here's one. It's at $2.40. Maybe it'll be, I don't know, where has it been historically? It's one of these biotech companies that just bleeds their investors dry, unfortunately. So, but hey, sometimes these things go on a little run. God knows they need it. Allow access. Allow location. Go. All right. To avoid issues like black screen or freezing during live, update the driver and update and restart Live Studio. Your screen may go black for a short time during updates. NVIDIA driver. Love to do that, but okay. I can just put it into the website there. Skip and then back over here. All right, INDP, like I said, this is one we want to keep an eye on, but we're also totally stocking Uber. I mean, these reclaim entries, this reclaim entry is a green over red, so that's a little bit already signaling. In fact, technically you could get some pre-market here at 240, but it might fail out on you, and there's not a lot of volume. So not a lot of volume on INDP, so I would put that like as a worst signal, like the worst of the bunch. Let's see, what could be a low volume icon I can put? I got checkmark, star, and ER. Be I need a bad sign. And like the Ghostbusters, just the cross out sign, the circle with the cross out sign. How about poop signal? I'll put the cross out sign for now. I know that's fine. All right, back over here on this. And market opens. Okay, ELF. Somebody's an ELF, but ELF is insane with that it dropped yesterday. But what was the one that went below the 50? I don't think, no, that wasn't ELF. Elf could bounce here at the 50. We should put Elf on a reclaim watch. But the thing is, remember what we talked about, these big, huge droppers, they tend to go sideways for months. So I would prioritize like things that are really well set up, like Uber. Mara, Rivian, Nikola, SoFi, CCL, Uber, XPEV, Open, CLSK, Ion, QAI, CHR, BTF, BitF, DraftKings, Tesla, PGY, Tupperware, RGTY. I think that's where we left off yesterday. No, good, but where are you? On Kosk, Unify, anything else? WWW is kind of all over the map, but I don't have to wait to see that one. Reclaim just at certain suite 5 or 10 days into the beginning of its run. Do well, I guess. Explaining and more looking. This came up. Fuck you, pen. Fell off my desk. Just now, Carl must have bought it. And no. So I'm going to put an alert at 176. Less explaining, more going. Never got back in that. That's not really a reclaim entry. No. Gas. Isn't that a stealth gas? Oh, is up a lot this morning on the ER, on ER being released. Gas put in, unfortunately, very low amount of volume, and yet it's actually only put in 1% volume on its normal volume of 400,000 shares a day. That's useful, 400,000 shares a day, but the projection on this is not very hot. Yeah, we'll avoid it. SMSI. All right, we've got 3.5 minutes, I think. SMSI. SMSI definitely worth watching for the reclaim. SMSI goes on our short list. Nice pullback. Hasn't failed anything. It's right by the 200. Domino setup's excellent looking on that one. Does it have any volume? SMSI, it does 400,000 average. Lately, it's been doing 800,000, 1 million. That's good. Finally, INDP. All right, and we're watching that. Okay, so we have our list. We're ready, and we got like 2 minutes before the market opens. TTOO is going to be one of the best opportunities. And then also, we have catalyst days we need to look at. AMC possibly putting in a ton of volume. AMC, it's got a split coming up, apparently. A scheduled split coming up on AMC. Is it a reverse split? Oh, it's a very weird split. I think it has to do with adding that other ape ticker. AMC, where's the average volume? Volume 1.3 million. Normally does 54. No, that's not a high R vol. I can just see the high R vols here. I'll just scroll down, see if I can find anything at high R vol. Not really a catalyst day if it's not. Nothing. None of those. Not Google, nothing. Okay, good. So we've skimmed every opportunity now, but there's still going to be potentially things that do get away from us. And I'm going to go down my list here. Volume, AI, DKP, Unity. Good morning. Yeah, Jupe W is on my short list right here. Boom. Okay, might be an entry this morning. We'll find out. Today, the second best, maybe first best, second best. We'll see. Best. We'll see how it pans out. Entry day of the entire year. Very, very important day this morning. And you need to be able to shift gears and get aggressive instantaneously if it ends up being a signal day. Okay, the market dropping before the open. Wow, we're gapping open even lower. This is just fantastic. I mean, what a setup it could be putting in here. Just fantastic. Unity, no. TSM, Robinhood, AFRM. No, not perfect. AUR, yes. AUR, we would want an entry on that. AUR. We're down to a list of about 20 possibles this morning, and Uber being the absolute best so far. And maybe that other one. What was it? Shit. Kosk? K-O-S-K. Yeah, but the problem with that was low volume, I believe. On. That's where we left off. We don't want that. Cost. On. Keep going. On. LI. Wow. LI would have to get up a lot, but if it could do it, wow. I'm going to put an alert. And the market's opening any second here. Okay, here it goes. Oh, was it? Now. All right, here comes the first minute. I expect the market to panic drop all morning, and then we get a 10 a.m. reversal. But it doesn't matter if it goes up even from here. We are gapped low enough on the market to be getting entries everywhere. Was that alert? Okay, there it is. ELF. Possible. I'm not saying there's a signal and get into ELF. I'm just telling you that my alerted ELF because it crossed this 50. Okay, so ELF would have to get to 117.47 today in order to make entry. It is set up for it. If we just grind up all morning and then we hit that reclaim spot, this is just that would make it the easiest fucking best setup ever. The least stressful, beautiful, most prepared for setup. But what I was expecting is for the market to panic, for it to move down, and put into question whether or not it could do that, whether or not it could reclaim all day. That would help flush out a lot of people. But, it could be that money is changing hands now. There could be a lot of people who are freaked out and have been selling in pre-market, and they're freaked out right now, and they're dumping. They're getting all their, automatic stop orders are getting hit. There's all this dumping going on, and yet there's twice taking those shares at this point. It's a reclaim change of hand on the market. That could be what's going on here. I mean, right now we're projected to do 600% RVOL on the market, but those numbers kind of can be off at the beginning of the market, and 500% on the S&P 500. So I mean, this is kind of really happening. Let's take a look at Uber. Let's see if we've got an entry. No entry yet, but it's kind of happening. You got your 1 minute entry if you wanted to go for it early on Uber. How about Neptune, NEPT? Remember that could be an entry on the 1 minute. That's a Catalyst Day entry. EP entry. 1 minute entry, yeah, at 27 cents. It's now at 28 cents, so you'd want to get in there and stop at 21 cents. So 0.06 cents of risk. NEPT, NEPT. Back to our short list, TTOO. This is one we're really watching. TTO, no signal. Looks like it might not signal. NEO, it's not there yet. ACHR, we're just going to start thumbing through our short list of 2025 stocks here. Boom, ACHR is an entry. Stop low of the day, 588. And it's at 615. 10, 20, 25 cents of risk. ACHR. The market hasn't signaled reclaim entries yet, so you might want to take it easy and go half. I had to do some mental math there. ACHR. I am in for half until the market also reclaims. Yeah, then I am going to just start with halves on anything signaling. This is really happening, guys. The market is grinding up. God, if it were to touch the low of yesterday, the first or second best entry of the entire year on stocks. All right, thumbing through more. Let's take a quick look at them. Oh, Nept. Anybody get into Nept? It is now hitting almost 29 cents. The entry happened. It was at 27 cents. You had a little bit of a pullback, and now it's flying. Nept. Who got Nept? Or are you inept? You either got Nept or you're inept. Oh, that was good. That's kind of a good one. All right. ACHR continues to move in the right direction. Nikola, let's take a look. There's a couple of them that were really close. I know that. Nikola is almost to an entry on Nikola. Entry on Nikola would be at $1.87. I see low. $1.87 on Nikola. $1.87. Okay, we want to keep an eye on Nikola. Inept, yeah. It's just like, probably not a lot of people showing up on a Friday morning on what they thought was a terrible day on the market, but they got it fucking upside down. This is looking like it's turning out to be the number one or number two best entry day, signal entry day for stocks of the entire year since March 3rd, I think it was. But we're smart money, so what can we say, man? Now Neo's got a little bit of a ways to go. Nvidia. Am I shorting? No. Nvidia, no signal going on there. Rivian. These are some of the ones that were at good spots. Oh, Rivian's almost a signal. There it is. Boom. That's an entry signal on Rivian. 2020, 50 cents of risk on Rivian. Very nice signal. The 50 cents of risk. And I'm going to go half size until the market confirms on Rivian. Right. I need to be reserving some of my cash for Uber. Uber, how you doing? This is our A plus number one setup. Okay, still's got a ways to go to get to the signal line. That'd be this red line right here, 4412 signal line on Uber, 4412, 4412. Everybody, 4412. On Uber, Rivian, Nikola. We're looking for $1.87 on Nikola. We're getting close. We're getting close on Nikola. $1.87. Watch for $1.87 on Nikola. SoFi getting very close. 822 on SoFi for entry if it gets there. 822. Low of the day for the stop. 822. Let's scroll over to the market. Check the health of the market. Okay. So far it's kind of dojiing here. That's fine. It's not dropping. I would rather it dropped and then reclaim. That give us a nice bottoming tail candle. But if all we do is grind up and reclaim, fine. Happy with that. We do have a ways to go, though. We're only about an eighth of the way there this morning, an eighth of the way to the full reclaim signal on the market. Although, let me check the S&P 500. That's the growth market. The other one that we were just looking at. We're about 1/7 of the way there on S&P 500, and S&P 500 is looking pretty strong. So it's crazy that such a blood red open type of open, which will probably, the headlines are going to be, biggest drop in months. We're now X% off of the highs. It's all Armageddon, and some of the contrarians probably will be rewarded for that potentially if this does reclaim. And this is a signal day. This is a hot entry day. Very hot entry day. I'm already up 3% on ACHR. And that's a half position, and I'm up $250, $250 already on ACHR. SoFi, CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines. It's getting close. Ooh, that's looking so good. CCL, we could get an entry at $16.02 on CCL. 16.02. You need a pencil on a day like this. If you're not prepared, pen and pencil and paper, pad, and be writing all these down. Ye who is prepared will be rewarded. Uber, I was just double checking on the XPEV. If this could reclaim, it would be outstanding. It was a very nice setup, but unfortunately it had bad ER. It's trying. It might even happen. $16 would be the reclaim on XPEV. CLSK. Oh, CLSK would have a long ways to go. Not really, 550, 545. No, even we could even say 543 for reclaim on CLSK if it happens. 543. Yeah, my entries and my portfolio is flying as I entering these stocks. CLSK, ACHR, Jupe W. We need to go check in on starred Jupe W. Wow, it's moving the other way. It's not giving a signal. Incredible. We need it to get to about $1.18 on Jupe W. INDP, very low volume, but a lot of potential on the chart. Technically you can get in, but we have not even more than one trade going on there yet. INDP, maybe we wait for the break of 260. Just for a little more signal. 250. If it can get over 250, so 251 on INDP. But the problem with that one is it's very illiquid. ELF, is it reclaiming? This is something very interesting if we get a reclaim on ELF. No reclaim yet on ELF. We need to see it hit 127.60 on ELF. 127.60. 760. Let's check in on the market again. See what's going on. See if we're still in the dream zone here. We just made a higher high by a smidge, by a penny or so, but it is working. And the S&P 500, let's take a look at that. S&P 500 even a stronger higher high. Not a lot, but it's a grind. It's a grind green kind of day. Across the board on the whole market, I'm looking at it, every sector grinding up green this morning. Good Lord. I mean, everything we know about the market coming together in this one incredible moment. Randy says the Uber trade might be happening. Fuck yeah, here it comes. We're looking for 44.11, I believe. Let me look at the low. The low is 43.91. 43.9. This is entry on Uber right here. And again, because the market isn't confirmed yet, I would go half on that. Stop at the low of the day, 43.16. We're at about 44, so we're talking about 80 cents of risk. So I got to get 400 shares for half a position here. Great. This was our star number one setup stock, Uber. Odd. I don't know why, but we don't, guess. We just know what we see. Anyway, Uber has touched and has reclaimed. It didn't turn blue, but probably for a moment on my chart, this little candle turned blue there. And once it turns blue, I think that's going to be at yesterday's close, which is 44.10, the way my programming is here. 44.10, Uber turns blue. Contrary to the color, it means it's hot. KOSK, K-O-S-K. Let's take a look at this low volume one. Could be signaling. Nah, it's not putting in a signal at all. PGen, no signal. SMSI has a star next to it. This is one of our better possibilities. And interesting. I think I want a little more confirmation from this. I wanted to get to 148 on SMSI, but it is technically reclaiming yesterday's low. I'd like to, because it's low volume, I'd like to see it do a little bit more. AVR. Okay, and then over here, Catalyst Day. We'll change that to Catalyst. Oops, change that to Catalyst Day. Market in real time hour, regular trading hours. Very good. A lot of calculations going on there. NEPT is one of them. Who got in NEPT? That one's definitely going. Who got in? Ooh, TTOO might be coming close to a signal. There goes NEPT. It's at 34 cents. Who got in NEPT? I told you get in NEPT at 27 cents. It's now 34 cents. 34 divided by 27. You're up 26% on my called out entry on NEPT. And we knew this pre-market that this is a hot one. TTOO. Take a look. Don't want to miss that. TTOO, a very good looking one. TTOO has blue signaled because it's a bounce off of the 20. Okay, that's an entry on TTOO. Stop at the low of the day. I actually would put it at 38 cents, guys. 38 cents, 43 cents currently. So that's about 5 cents of risk on TTOO. So 12,000 shares for me, but I'm going to go 6,000 because I'm going to wait for the market to do its confirm to double up any of these positions. Oh, it's flying. TTOO, I got you. I got you, baby. NEPT, it's incredible, you know. Who got NEPT? It's insane that you guys missed this incredible entry. Look at this. Woo! Up 26% since our entry, up 145% today. Up 26% since my entry, signal, up 145% today on 4,500% RVOL. How do you miss my number one pick in the morning? I don't know. Got to ask yourself that. You need to see a psychologist, I think. All right. Is that, can I say that? Pineapples. Back in EBET, LVR, skin. Okay, looking for high RVOLs. NEPT. NEPT at the top of the list of the RVOLs. ACRX. Let's keep thumbing through things and we're going to check back in the market in a second here. See how the health of the market is continuing or not. ACRX. The Rivian entry, not really following through. ACRX, not an entry. Rivian, I'm going to go take a look at that. You know, we got Uber doing fine and ACHR following through. We've got TTOO doing fine, but we're Rivian, not kind of, it's bouncing off of the blue signal. Okay, you know, it's sitting at VWAP. I mean, this is just an example of sometimes it's some of these are going to be tough. Some are going to be tougher than others, but this Rivian signal is there and it does exist. But you know, be on your toes with it. You know, it's one of the worst ones of our signals that we're in right now. CDU, we're going to check on that, and then we're going to thumb through our list again to see if anything's signaling. All right, there we go. INDP. We're going to go back to JUPW. JUPW is just sitting. I mean, sorry, INDP is just sitting there. Still no signal. JUPW, no go on JUPW. CLSK. This was a check mark, kind of like medium signal. It's giving off a reclaim signal. How can it do that? The programming. Because it's up over pre-market lows. No, somehow we're getting a signal here. Oh, it might be a red dog. Yeah, it's a red dog entry. This is a very specialized entry. CLSK could be an entry. Stop at $5. It's at $5.26, so about 30 cents of risk. 1,000 shares for me that I'll get 1,000 of until the market confirms. CLSK. This is a 8.25% ADR stock, so it's a real fast mover. It can get you quite a bit of return. That's probably about 3% a day. No, not 10,000. All right, here we go. Okay, you know, okay, Rivian actually starting to work out a little bit, but TTOO giving us some pullback. All right, but I'm up more than half a grand on ACHR entry, and that's not even full position size. To show you the strength of some of these stocks and how it's reacting on the market. Let's go over to the market and check in on it. All right, it's holding the line. S&P 500 growth market is holding at the upper end of the range. Looks kind of like a high tight flag, mini small consolidation area. SPY S&P 500 just put in another new high. It's a 4-point uptrend on SPY, grinding up today. Every sector going up today. Green across the board. That's a rising tide. VIX not confirming. Come on, VIX. We just need you to confirm. That would really put the nail in it. QQQs just made a new high. That's another now 3 points to an 3-point uptrend. Actually, multi-point, 3 higher high uptrend on the Qs on the market. This is an outstanding signal. and we should start to see a lot of these reclaimed stocks following through. Rivian now right at break even, back, and TTOO, the only one giving us any trouble, but highly being made up for by all these other stocks. Uber just sitting there. Who got the ACHR with me? That was an excellent entry. Let's go through these again. NIO, we're looking for NIO to turn around. Uber's following through nicely. NIO's not. I don't think NIO's going to happen. Doesn't look like it. Nvidia, we're switching over to Nvidia. Can you play the market with $200? Yes, you can. I'd love to teach you how to do that. You can do it for 100 and like $105 would be the minimum you would play the market. Nvidia, no signal. Very interesting, right? That's not the leader. The leader is Uber and ACHR. These are some of the leaders right now, and they're following through on relative strength. Interesting. Nikola is getting there. 187. We're looking for a hit 184. Nikola. SoFi. Remember these levels? 822 we're looking for. It's at 819. It's getting so close. It's a blue signal already. SoFi, that's an entry low of 790. That's your stop at 790. 30 cents of risk on SoFi. I already know that's 1,000 shares to get in now. 2,000 shares for me. SoFi, 30 cents of risk. 1,000 shares to start until we get the full confirmation on the market of a reclaim. 1,000 shares to start for me on SoFi. Boom, I'm in SoFi. SoFi, do your thing, man. Work out for us. Come on. This shit's just getting started, but keep monitoring your positions. I'm up almost $1,000 now on ACHR. Anybody get ACHR? Okay, Mike says he's in ACHR. Go ahead and say what you get in, guys. If you get in something, in ticker, in such and such. Let's keep it rolling. Let's figure out what we're in. This is the first or maybe second best day for signal entries of the entire year so far. Okay, very important day, and you wouldn't have known that unless you took our class last night. Or you woke up this morning and you're with me right now. CCL, wow, it's a reclaim entry on CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines. We get a 1540 stop, and it's at 1580. That's 0.4 of risk, 40 cents of risk. I'm getting in for half of 1,500 shares or 750 shares on CCL. I just forgot what I said. How many? 750 shares. 750. 750. All right, we're getting in there. The aggressive allocations, starting to work out, pan out across the board. We've got nothing not working. We've got plenty not going, but we've got nothing going against us right now. So far, knock on wood. Of course, we're going to get tested, but we're getting in at the absolute best entry prices we possibly can. Ben's in Uber, Rivian, Nikola, Nept, and TTO. I'm so proud of you, Ben, for being in Nept. Good job. CCL, Uber, let's go. Well, we're in it. I know it's just hanging out around our reclaim entry. Uber is improving. Okay, it's going to get to that blue candle entry momentarily if it can get to 44.12. Uber XPEV, doubtful, but it's on our hot list. Doubtful that it gets all the way up to yesterday's low. It's a long way to go. XPEV needs to get to 1570. Very doubtful. The market itself, let's see how far it is. How far it's come along so far to reclaim. Okay, by eyesight, I would say it's a quarter of the way to a full reclaim signal on the market. But we have a rising tide across the board. So this is good stuff, guys. This is some of the best entries you're going to get all year. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, okay? But you can't ask for a better signal than these coming in. The lowest price possible at the lowest point in the base pullback after how many weeks of pullback has this been? 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's been about 5 weeks of pullback, and we're signaling bottom of the base now on the market. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. It's real strong. And the VIX has just confirmed. Yes. All right. So we have just a dream come true. Do you remember last night I said everything kind of like needs to line up, like the planets aligning? It's happening. We would like to see the S&P 500 or the QQQs, these markets reclaim yesterday's low. That's all we need. We're really close. Yesterday's low on SP 500 on SPY was 435.75. 435.75. And we just hit 435.25. So it's kind of happening. Taking a look at the Qs, just to double check the low there. The low is a 358.16. We hit like almost 357. So the Qs have a little bit of ways to go, but it's happening. It's happening. Looks like what is that? CLSK slightly testing our entry a little bit. Yeah, a bit of a strong reject there on CLSK off the top. This one might put us through the ringer a little bit. Watch CLSK. All right, going through the list again. TTOO. Am I in that? Yeah, I am in that. Okay, and that's actually moving. That's moving in our direction. Very nice. Look at that nice swipe up. And look, it turned blue. Beautiful. All right. Neo is far from happening, but we will keep an eye on these. We don't want to move. We don't want to miss any possible potential entries. Does the platform work in Ontario? Yes, it does. Yeah, just send me a private message. Stay with me and I'll help you out. IWM is green. Good. It's growth. Everything's green. Everything's green this morning. Every sector across the board is green. The only one having a little bit of a hard time is XLC, and I can only guess that's because of Meta. Let's take a look at Meta. Maybe Meta's not doing good this morning. That's it. That's the only thing really going against the market right now is Meta. I'm going to take a quick look at Market Watch, at the I forget what they call it, but like the hot list. Visualize. Here we go. And so we got Google and Meta and Amazon and Microsoft and Nvidia not happening, but the rest of the market is rising, and it's enough to actually overwhelm all those guys. So in other words, it's kind of a David versus Goliath situation where all the Davids are beating down the Goliaths this morning. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. All right, CLSK is really testing us now. It's down halfway through our entry. It's hitting VWAP. I'm gonna probably cut it if it hits low, if it turns red on the day. So if it hits the open. Looking through others, we're looking for high volume this morning. BTI, Bark and Veru. BTI. Tattoo with the most bullish candle right now, TTOO. I call it Tattoo. It's not Tattoo Chef, though. It's T2 Biosystems. BTI, interesting, but it's not a bullish stock. We're not interested in that. BTI, Bark, and Sea-Doo. Did I already look at? I think, let's see. No. Bark, we want to be flying through these tickers and roundabout and round and going around them, just over and over and over throughout the morning here, because there could be signals all over the place. All right, the Qs going for a low test right now. They're going to put you through the ringer a little bit. My cat just meowed. Okay, we're already in a lot of these, but let's just check in on Uber. Uber is sitting at entry, all right. And this ACHR doing the best. We're up 10% on ACHR. Hell of an entry on that. Subsidize the risk of a lot of these others. The one that's testing us the most now is CLSK. I believe I might have to let it go here. It's now below VWAP. Not holding. Failing out. Let's go to the market and see if we're getting a bounce from the market. CLSK looks just like the market. I mean, it's following the market. So if the market fails out, CLSK is going to fail out. But some of these other ones have a lot of high relative strength and are looking pretty good. But CLSK, not looking great. And I think it just worsened right before while I was flipping screens. Yeah, I'm going to exit CLSK. I can get back in later. And this is why, start with a half entry can be a good idea. I'm not going to double up on. Actually, I got a pretty good fill there. I'm not going to double up on anything until the market confirms, though, because we could get into a situation where we're defending and we're cutting everything this morning, and it doesn't follow through. Knock on wood. Well, I'm actually going to knock on wood there, to actually follow through with the evil spirits. You're supposed to actually hit the table so hard it knocks the evil spirits unconscious or out of the table for a moment, right? You know, that's where knock on wood comes from, because the Irish used to build their furniture out of wood from the woods, and they believed there were evil banshees out there, and that when you made your furniture, that some of their spirits could be living in the wood, and they're listening to your worries and concerns about bad things happening that you talk about, and they go, "Oh, I'm going to make that happen," right? And so then you go like that, you knock them unconscious. So that's where knock on wood comes from, by the way. You're not just supposed to go like, you're supposed to knock them unconscious. You learn something new every day, folks. Let's see. Any other signaling type things? We need to look at our upside reversal signals. That's for sure. Let's go with high volumes. Upside reversals sorted by high volume. I'm not able to really sort that way with my indicator thing. Let's go with let's go by market cap then. Team. Take a look. We're going to just look at other opportunities this morning. Team, that'd be Atlassian. That's right. Yeah, 4% ADR, reclaim entry this morning, and holding up. %, ADR. What was the move from here? 50% in 20 bars. That's decent. Been bearish lately though. Stuck only 15%. That's good. 3% in 16 bars. Okay, this is a potential entry. It's one of the more, it can actually move 4%, and it is one of the higher market cap, $47 billion company. I'm not going to get in it, but you can if you want. It's a signal. Team. It depends on what you like to hold. What's my first line of resistance on CCL? We'll take a look at that again in a minute. No, not WBD. Rivian is at the top of the list. Rivian is a signal this morning, but it's also getting highly tested. S&P 500 is holding up. The VIX could just about give a sell signal right now, so be on the defensive. The worst looking position right now is CCL, which is about a third of the way back, and actually that looks pretty good. SoFi, just cut through our positions here and check on their health. TTOO, ACHR, these are some of our best entries this morning. We got a lot of padding there. Uber and Neptune is holding up, looking good on Neptune. I might get some of that Neptune now because I missed it. TGAT, that. I did not know that. I wonder about what? What did I say? Stars aligned. Neptune. Stop at 20 cents on that. 33 cents. Well, that's a pretty wide stop. It's a little bit past the prime entry point for me, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys got it. But it could be returning to the 200. It could be at 48 cents tomorrow, so this is an excellent 200 SMA return, catalyst day, ER based, ER day number one entry on NEPT, NEPT. I need more coffee. No, I'm good. BTI Huma. I wonder what that is. Huma. I'm going to go turn up the AC. I need it. The Qs are testing the lows right now as we speak. Does anybody remember like the first thing to go viral? I have a thought of what it is because I saw this video on TikTok yesterday. And it's very interesting because, yeah, I do believe that probably was it. And it was at the beginning of the internet. Does anybody know what was the first thing to go viral on Earth? And it was not like the moon landing. That was just big news. All right, the Qs have bounced off the lows. Charlie, he bit my finger. Yeah, no, it was definitely before that. But not a lot before that. It was probably 1998. I think. Let me see in another window so you can't see. $1998 is when it started, and then it came out in 1999 and went viral. But even in 1998, it was already going viral, and nobody knew it, and then what it was, really. And then it came out in 1999 and went viral. Like, oh, another one could have been like War of the Worlds, Orson Welles, like, almost 80 years ago on the radio. TTOO, we're getting that follow through on TTOO. Getting some pullback on, what is that? CCL, really testing, and SoFi, CCL. But TTO following through. Very nice. Yeah, unfortunately, we got to keep holding through this pullback on CCL and hope that our better positions subsidize it. We're at basically break even right now on all of our entries, with good trades subsidizing the bad trades. But we might need to trim some of our weaker positions if the market breaks down, and that's fine. We'll probably end up staying or even possibly getting out at break even on some of the other ones if the market does break down. But then later in the day, that may set us up for a huge run at the end of the day, reclaim. So we'll see. We'll see. Knock on wood. I kicked your dog. Oh, you did? Sorry about that. So anyway, the answer is it was a movie called The Blair Witch Project. And for a year before the Blair Witch Project came out, there was all these missing persons reports, posted around everywhere in the U.S. at least, if not around the world, and posted up everywhere, missing persons, and that in itself started to go viral and get talked about because it was so mysterious, And then when the movie came out, it was the very first movie to be a found footage movie. So the whole concept of the found footage horror thriller genre, that was the first time that had ever happened. And you have to remember, that caught everybody by surprise. Nobody knew what a found footage was. So people, you think it'd be stupid now, but people walked out of the theater actually believing that was a real found footage. That they found these films canisters in the dirt in the woods, and then they cut it up and made it into a movie form, and everyone believed it, and it was incredible and it went viral. They found like buried film, right? And that's so interesting. That was pretty much the very first thing to ever go viral on the internet, I should say, on the internet. Of course, now we know what that is, going viral, but back then, that's the very first time something had done that. RJ says he believed it was real when he was a kid, and you probably didn't see it when it came out. Did you? How old would you have been? Oh, you would have been like 7 years old, 6 years old. Dude, who brought you to that movie as a 6-year-old? Oh, geez, you have a bad parent. That's so too funny. No wonder you came out how you came out, RJ. I'm just kidding. But hey, for many people, you're the first one in the family. Okay, just let's acknowledge that. For many people, you might be the first one to do things right in life, and that's a very common theme. That's so funny. So if I Rivian, okay, Rivian and Uber are sort of like holding the entry. TTOO doing great. ACHR with a bit stronger of a pullback now. We pulled back about 75% of our entry since our entry, but actually it's looking good and healthy on the day when you look at the chart. The one we really got to worry about right now is, SoFi. SoFi is the one at the worst point of our entry. Not OFI, SoFi. It just fucked up all of my chart timeframes because I typed the wrong thing. Gee, thanks, TradingView. Daily chart down there, 1 minute chart right here, 5 minute right here, and a weekly chart over here. Okay, bitch. All right. Okay, on the market, a quick SoFi looks okay, except right now, just right when I was looking at it, it kind of broke down. The market itself, definitely looking kind of hairy, getting some support here at the bottom. You have to shake out the weaker hands, and this is how you do it. Wouldn't we actually broke to a new low at one point, so we did shake some out already. But if we're in the right things, we're in the right things, and that we'll find that out as the day progresses, and we trim what needs to be trimmed and we keep what needs to be kept. All right, we looked at Siri last night. That was no good. SoFi, CCL, Uber, XPEV, Open, CLSK, INQ, AI, TSSL, Top, WG, RGTI, TSM, who I think we already looked through, Robinhood, QuantumScape. No. Carvana. Carvana is a bullish engulfing already, bouncing off of the 50. This is an entry on Carvana. Stop at 36.50. It's at roughly 38.50, so $2 of risk on Carvana. Signaling an entry on Carvana, and it's holding up pretty strong. Good stuff. I'm going in for half a position size right here. And there are no lower lows in any category, in any sector across the board, except for communications. And that's because of Meta, mostly. But everything else is up green. So it is a rising tide. And then Meta just pulling the XLC index down, the communication sector down, all by itself. There goes Carvana. Thank God we got a little entry there. It just popped. So that's nice. It's always nice to get a little padding on your entry. Carvana, TOST. No. ERT. Slow mover, 4% ADR, but it did 50% in 32 bars. Okay. This is definitely an instructive educational moment. VRT, you can see it only gives good return on these like 1 day pops that happen infrequently, right? So that's very hard to rely upon. Yeah, it's smooth after that, but it's too low of a return per day, the differential. So VRT is kind of like not one that you would want to be in, but we keep it on watch because it is doing great things. NNOX totally goes off of our hot list. Nova, off our hot list. RK Lab, Rocket Lab. What is this? RKLB Rocket Lab. Yeah, that's a hell of a drop. Multiple pivot point breaks and moving average breaks. Not too excited about an entry on this one, but it definitely stays on our hot list because it's looking kind of good. That was a reference to a recorded crank call. Who? Oh, you kicked my dog? It was? Oh, I don't know. That's cool. Oh yeah, remember the Jerky Boys? That was like a viral thing when I was a kid or in high school or something. We had these tapes people would copy with each other and they would pass it around. I'd say that was also a viral thing called the Jerky Boys. I don't know if you guys remember that. It got so popular, eventually it became a movie. D-Dog, no. Keep it on the hot list. Light, no. That doesn't look like it switched bullish even. So it goes off of our hot list. Stem, boy, nah. It stays on our hot list though. Redfin. It can do great things. We'll keep it on the hot list, but it looks like it got slammed on last ER. Builder, it reclaimed. Builder reclaimed, and that also would mean that Nail probably reclaimed. Yes, Nail reclaimed, just now-ish. So Nail could be an entry. Low of the day is 65.50. Stop at 65.50. Entry at roughly 68.50, like right now. Stop at 65.50. That's $3 of risk. So I'm going to go ahead and get into Nail. This is a home builders ETF. Nail here. I say $3 of risk. Okay. Get into half position right here on Nail. Home builders reclaiming. How about Elf? Did Elf put in a reclaim? It did not. All right, so that's very interesting. What were some of those other ones that we saw? FRSH says Mike. Yeah, that's a reclaim, but it's ADR 4%, 21% in 12 bars. It doesn't give off more than like 1 or 2 day runs. 5% in 6 bars. I'm not loving it, but if you want to get it, you got it. It probably will work. But it's not the highest percent return on your capital, although good. Better than Apple and a lot of those stocks. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple must be doing good because I haven't seen anything to the otherwise. Apple is getting off a reclaim signal entry, but I wouldn't fully trust that until it hits yesterday's low, 173.50. 173.50 would be entry on Apple, but you don't want Apple. The ADR is way too low, 1.55%. Your money is best put somewhere else. But if you needed an entry on Apple, that's where it would be, 173.50. But there is what? AAPU, which is the leveraged version of Apple, and it provides 2% ADR, still quite low. Get AAPU if you were going to get Apple shares for a swing trade. Thanks for sharing the stream, everybody. Thank you. What happened to the chart dungeon? No, it's here, and I'm looking at other screens. But little by little, getting the TikTok all dialed in. Nikola looks like it might be getting up to an entry. Nikola's entry, didn't we write it down? $1.87. Where is it at right now? $1.87. That's entry on Nikola. Stop at 172. So that's 15 cents of risk. 16 cents of risk on Nikola. That's an entry. Okay, 1,875 shares. Buy for me, half entry. And how's the market? The market's making a new low. Really don't feel like grabbing anything when the market's making a new low. Buying power will be too low. Did I do the calculation wrong? 8.75. Maybe it's just right on the cusp of what I can't buy everything in the world that you want to buy. 1875. Okay, well, that's too much for me, apparently. Try 1,500 shares. Okay. No go. Wait a minute. Oh, it's because I'm still on Nail. All right, Nikola. Back to Nikola. And I probably can get to 1875. Trying to buy like $200,000 of something. There we go. There's my entry on Nikola. All right, looking back, I think we have a couple of stocks not doing too well. CCL, not doing too great. That's the one that's the worst. CCL. Gotta keep an eye on it. Now, the market itself has just made a lower low on the growth market, and the S&P 500 is being tested. And the VIX, however, did not make a lower low. So we actually have bullish divergence on the VIX. And so growth stocks, at least on the index, are putting in a fake down, actually. This is probably a fake down. I mean, can you see how we're just using so many different things that I've learned over my 25 years of trading? how we use so many different things to inform our trades. So important for you to to be patient and just keep learning and just learn everything you can, and to put a huge emphasis, like 50%, maybe more, of the emphasis of your learning and your understanding of how things work into watching the market. Like, you wouldn't expect that for stock trading, but maybe even if you started at market trading, support and resistance zones, etc. You get a little bit of a feel for that. But the concept that you need to even look at the market when you're trading, say, Apple, because people will trade just Apple. They'll trade Apple, but they won't look at the market. They won't understand the context of where does this stock sit right now, because it doesn't matter if the ship is sinking. It doesn't matter if somebody's happy on the boat if the ship is sinking. Because overall, you don't want to bet on that person because the whole fucking ship is going down, right? So, wow, look at that. Very interesting. Megaphone reclaim. This is quite a bullish pattern. That was a fake down on the Qs. Tried to shake out people, which it probably successfully did. And we just had a change of hands, and demand is rushing in on the Qs. That was actually a very good sign just now in the last 2 minutes on the market at those lows. I don't even know if we'll be able to return to those lows after such a signal. That was a really nice signal on the lows. And yeah, a lot of our positions just improved on it. But you know what? Carnival Cruise Lines did not. But maybe it'll catch up. We'll see. We're watching. But Carnival Cruise Lines might be a cut soon here if it does not improve. I'd like to see it get back over, VWAP for sure. I'd like to see it get over like 1565. And certainly I don't want to see a new low from here, a new pivot low. I don't want to see it drop below 1555. So 1555. What happened to the, there you go. Right. We're up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8 positions. 6 out of 9 because the 9th CLSK we cut. Let's go take a look back at that and see if it's reclaimed. Nah, it hasn't. It's bouncing at the lows. It was a good idea to cut it. We cut it not even at the lows. It's since made new lows. How was TTOO is looking pretty good. Nicola is following through. Nicola is at, where is it here? I didn't get Nicola. Oh, I already had Nicola. Okay, but I guess I increased it to a full position then. I already had Nicola, and that helped my cost average, which is cool. But I had Nicola in a more smaller way. Looks like I'm looking back on my entries here. 4 days ago, I got maybe I got about 10% position 4 days ago at $1.78. We just got it at $1.87, and so they helped my cost average. I'm at $1.85 on Nicola. It's at $1.90 now, and zoom in. Yeah, it's over. But that was a really great sign at the bottom on the Qs. And now it's testing 356.25, the Qs. The idea that the market could fully reclaim yesterday's low today, no, it's going to be tough. But it could happen, and so that's what we're doing here. We are jockeying for position, and I am in for half position sizes until the market can confirm, and playing very defensively. Okay, we're now up in aggregate 1% across all of our new fresh entries this morning. 1% across them all. Like TTOO, we're up 11% on, but on average, when you put them all together, 1%, and that is amounting to being up for me almost $750,000. So for you, I'm not sure. How's everybody's things doing? Some of you, everybody gets a different mix, of signals. Everyone gets a different mix of stocks. I got them, I think pretty much all. And then of course I got out of that one when I was supposed to, but some of you might have selected the best 3 and you're doing great. Other of you might have selected 2 of the worst and 1 good one. And the good one is only doing negligibly good. And so you're not in great shape. So how's everybody doing? Just checking in. I don't know if anybody got any of these signals. Or if you're just learning, if you're just watching, that's fine. But I'm curious how everybody's doing. And especially would love to hear from people who are doing really well. That's great. But also, if you're not doing too well, don't be shy. Let us know. What's your stocks? So Randy's got Rivian and Uber, which are very similar companies. Well, I mean, not really, I guess. Never mind. But they're both car companies. Good. Rivian and Uber. And I'm up 0.25% on Rivian. And I'm up 0.25% on Uber. So together, correct me if I'm wrong, are you up 0.25%, an average of 0.25% between those 2 positions? Because they would be. 0.25 makes 0.25. So hopefully I'm correct on that and make sure my math is doing right. Okay, good. All right. VIX is actually bullish diverging across all the other indications on the market. So there's some hidden bullish action going on here, which is great. Mark is up 7 out of 8 positions. Mike is up 4 out of 8. Mark, what a great positioning you've done. Good job. Kudos to you, Mark. Let's look at our worst position right now. Our worst position right now is still CCL, and I just want to see if it's improving or we need to do something with it. Okay, good. See, it's up above VWAP now. Okay, it's not flying, and it's acting kind of laggy. But if it could continue from here, that'd be great. If it starts to fail from here, it's just, not a good thing. But the rest of everything else is doing well. TTOO, one of the better ones, up the most percent in any event. Look at that gigantic bounce off of the 10 moving average on TTOO. And this is a super stock right now. I mean, it went 500% in 12 days. This is, but it reclaimed to our entry 43%. So it doesn't qualify as a holy grail, but the return on this, that fucking ADR is insane. Look, it's 32%. So, when you get in something and the timing is right, like this, you could do quite well, as you can already see. Yeah, CCL really testing our faith. Come on, buddy. Follow through. APP, which we got out of a couple days ago, giving off some kind of signal here. Let's see. Yeah, APP reclaiming, but it's another one of those ones that I forget the other one you told me to look at, but this didn't move. It just moves slow and then has a pop, every 2 months. That's not really useful to you. Is NEO improving at all? Let's see if NEO's turning into a leader. Not at all. Not at all. NEO very much lagging. The bottom of my list is we still got SoFi kind of struggling, but it's looking okay. And it's probably concurrent with the way its chart looks as well. Really cut people out recently. CCL on the daily, also in the similar type of situation. It's like if it can't reclaim, it's not going to happen. And it's sort of bearish sentiment lately is going to take over, and we would cut it. Near the top of the list here is ACHR and TTOO. Both put in really nice moments there. And we've got good pricings on both of them. What was the one that we missed? Did I miss? NEPT. NEPT pulled back. If it came back to your entry, you do want to defend that line. You never let something that moved into a profit for a while, and in this case, like 30 minutes, come back to your break even and stay in. Just not good practice. You could babysit it right around there, but you're now signaled to be out on NEPT, and then you'd get back in if it broke a significant, if it put 4 points uptrend, 4 points to an uptrend intraday over a pivot that's above your entry. So it has to reclaim your entry with a 4-point uptrend to kind of confirm you. And that would be at 33 cents on NEPT. So next entry would be at 33 cents on NEPT if it could ever get up there, 33 cents. And you should not be in NEPT. Unless you're inept. Top. Jeez, nah. All right, biggest movers on the day are volume gainers, FTCH. Let's take a look at some of these big volume gainers. No. Tesla. No, needs to reclaim yesterday's low, and it's not there yet in quite a bit of ways. Palantir we looked at last night. We didn't expect good things from. It has reclaimed. I just don't think I can trust it here. You know what, though? It is an entry. It's like this bottom here. I'll put the stop at that low, 2 months ago. 13.55. And it's at 14.20. 65 cents of risk. $923 shares for me. 65 cents of risk. 13.55 stop. So 460 shares for a half entry. And it's under pressure. So it's under pressure to perform. Oh, I don't even know if I have enough money to do this. Let's see what happens. I don't think so. Maybe it might give that to me if it's like 30% marginable. Otherwise, I got to come down in size. Oh, it gave it to me. All right, really nice. And I have some available funds left over for an option or something today. But that's about it for me. I'm now fully loaded, maxed out, and that's where I want to be on such a day. So I'm in positions. I'm in Palantir. I'm in Rivian, TTOO, ACHR, Uber, Carvana, Nail, SoFi, and CCL. I like it. I mean, I know all these stocks. We've been following all these stocks. They're very interesting. And it's very interesting that those are the ones that have shaped up to be our entries and not say Nvidia or something else that you would expect. It's very interesting. It's like in cards, you call somebody who's so fucking good with the deck of cards, you call them a mechanic. And they can cheat and stuff. It's like we're cheating the market. And I'm going to change my name to Evan the Mechanic, because we have really found the little side door entry, best looking, very interesting stocks here on the market. It's not exactly what is obvious or apparent. And yet we're in and we're looking pretty good. We're now up 1.1% across all of our fresh entries today. Actually, it's actually more than that because I didn't include Nikola in that, which we are up on as well. Let me move that down to the fresh entries, which I normally don't do. We're up 1.25% on everything. I'm up a grand. I'm up a grand across everything. All of our fresh entries today, and I'm down $140 in there. Of the grand that I'm up, included that I could have been up 1,200, roughly, but I'm down like $200 on CCL. So, that's the only one giving me heartache right now. Everything else is sitting quite pretty. In fact, SoFi is back. Nice. Let's take a look at it. Yeah. SoFi is almost about to make a high of the day breakout. Very nice. So these are like acting like leaders. This is great behavior in the face of the market, which is sort of going a little bit sideways the last 30 minutes. The ultimate is if we could get all the way up to yesterday's low. That's all we're looking for on any of the markets. And what about VIX? You know, the opposite. We'd be looking for the VIX to get down to yesterday's high. So that's another, point that we want to hit. That would be a bullish confirmation reclaim type signal that would diverge potentially from anything that's saying otherwise, because VIX is the truth. VIX is the truth in the way. God. All right. All right, the Q's making a little run for it, little move. They're definitely lagging behind, for instance, SoFi, which is nearly making a new high on the day. So leaders going to lead. That's what they do. And CCL is actually improving. Now up 1.4 grand this morning, and up 1.6% together on those positions. Those positions are up 1.6% since their entries on aggregate. But we do have some things like TTOO is up 11% already since our entry. We have ACHR, which is up 9% since our entry. But in aggregate, we have 5 or 4% on Nikola. But in aggregate, we're up 1.7% now between everything. And CCL now looking good. I'm fully loaded, guys. Fully loaded here. I would love for the market to do its thing and by the end of the day have reclaimed, and for this potential number one or number two best day on the market this entire year to have turned to something that we got shifted gears on and got aggressive on correctly, and all the stars just kept aligning. This would be just the best you could possibly perform if that turns out correctly. You couldn't do better. There's no way to do better. And I don't mean that, as an ego stroke or something. RJ is just going like, that's correct. I mean, it's a fucking fact. We have, oh, by the way, let me show you the daily chart on this. In a deep base, we only had a deep long base of which we did 5 weeks worth of pullback to the signal. So it's a deep, wide base. We've only had 2 of those this year. Let me illustrate that for you here on the member screens. Over here, we had this base. This is a deep, wide base because, from here to here, it was almost a 50% pullback. That was deep and wide. And then now, we've got this one, which is deep and wide to that point. This one was about 4 weeks, and this one is about 5 weeks to entry. And so this is the only other signal day. And actually in that base, there was one more signal. It became a double bottom like 2 weeks later. So we might be here again, by the way, in 2 weeks, but the leaders will be at a higher base point. Whatever we're in, we'll be in a better position during that time, and we'll get that extra thrust. And those actually might turn into add-ons on a couple of these positions that we got in today, if things work out the way they're supposed to work out. So, we might get that W like we talked about last night in class, and that's exactly what happened here back in this base. You get that W before we break out, Santa Claus rally later this year, how that might turn out. So this today marks the only other highly pulled back entry on the entire market this year, like the second or third day. It's kind of like tied for first. All those were excellent. And look what transpired after such an entry. It may have taken a while for it to get rolling. It took, in this case, in the last case, the entry was in March, like March 3rd, I believe it was, and things didn't get rolling until about middle of May 15. So It took 2.5 months for it really to wind up and then turn into a huge rally. Here we are in August, and I'm talking about a Santa Claus rally, and we're in like almost the end of August, and you go 2.5 months. Now we're talking about like November. We're basically talking about Black Friday. I mean, if we have a similar harmony between those, the beasts of the market, we're talking about basically a Black Friday event. Uh, Things are just lining up that way. Maybe we get then a push and then a pullback, a little cup and handle, if you can imagine this, and then it goes into like December 15th Santa Claus rally breakout, boom, all the way to New Year's Eve. This has been my prediction, spot on so far. Things are keep unraveling this way, it seems, and boom, we have the rally of the fucking decade next year, and we're getting in now. Today is the day you will have wished you got in. And I'm now fully loaded, backed the truck up in these positions. I'm now up 1.6 grand, by the way, up 1.9% across the board in all those positions. By the way, we're up 19% now on TTOO. TTOO flying. We're up 19% on TTOO. And the market just made a new high. The market just made a new high, and the VIX confirms it. So this is really happening, guys. And this is just, like I said, like mechanic. This is just being able to understand a shitload. That's what this is. I'm curious, RJ, are you able to, how many of you? No, all of you. I'm curious, how many of you are able to follow every little thing that I'm talking about? This is where you want to be at. You want to. It's not a lot. I know a lot more than all the shit that we're just paying attention to. This is a select number of very important key things, right? And you want to have mastered those select few things. It's, I don't know, 7 things. It's like just 7. Reading bases, understanding bases and runs and rallies and bull market runs. How to size positions. I mean, there's maybe it's 20 things, but it's not all. It's not everything. It's not how to sell covered calls. It's not options lotto. It's not ER season. It's a couple of things. Understanding the market, and these particular things are the things that have made the most 100 millionaires in trading. The big, huge, biggest traders of all time, these were the things that they followed. So the other things don't turn you into 100 millionaires. They might provide a living, but these are the things. High growth trading is what it's called. High growth trading. If you want to look it up, if you're new to things here and you want to learn more, high growth trading is what we do primarily. But then during other times, we fall back on other things when the high growth trading is not an opportunity here. But we're in a bull market. This is where we want to be. This is wave 2 entry. Right? This is the second really best entry that we could have in the start of this bull market, which started last year in October. And RJ says, I've been waiting for this day. I definitely follow. Mike says, I'm in, baby. And then RJ again says, I'm almost entirely all in from my phone. Just saying that's how mega this day is. Yeah. And I'm even in for half size, and I can't double up because I got no more money. So when the time comes to double up, I'm going to have to trim out of something that's up already, one of my more laggy positions, and then put that money and double up on, some of my best positions. If I even do that, maybe I'll just leave it the way it is. I feel nice and diversified now across these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 positions. So right on. You guys on TikTok, if you want to see what I'm talking about, go to my YouTube. I had it just illustrated out. You're going to have to rewind 5 minutes and rewatch what I just said, but it's all illustrated in the bottom left chart on my YouTube or my Twitch or wherever else, the live stream is happening. So that was pretty cool. The VIX now actually going even more bullish. The VIX hasn't reclaimed yet, though, but it's getting there. And if the VIX beats the market to reclaiming, that would be a reclaiming confirmation divergence or convergence signal, a leading signal. We're kind of getting that across the market, and it's taking all day, but here we are. We're doing the best we can. I'm up on every position now. So CCL did turn around. Let's go back to CCL on the there it is. CCL has made a new high of the day. This was the one that was giving us the most headache, and we can put some faith into it now. Not a ton. It was definitely the laggard of the group. And I'm going to be most defensive continually with CCL. These are like little mental notes you have to make when you're trading these stocks. How did it behave on liftoff? Kind of sketch on CCL. So CCL is at the bottom of my list. ACHR did some of the best. TTOO is the best. And it's just amazing that that these are on our fucking list. Okay, from last night. We knew all this ahead of time. There it is: ACHR, TTOO, Uber, SoFi, Nikola, Rivian. Those ones are on our list. And then we happen to catch through good diligence also Carvana, Palantir, Nail, like the home builders turning around. That was a nice catch. And Carnival Cruise Lines, which probably is going to do well moving forward through the holidays, and through reporting of how well they did this summer when ER reports are coming out. You know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting and revealing. It's clever. There's a lot of very interesting, clever stuff about the stuff we're getting into. And, knock on wood, the market itself does the right thing today. Do the right thing, market. Do the right thing. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, it might not be as good of a look, as good of a view on the markets. Let's take a look and analyze on the weekly view. Yeah, the weekly view still would be a red candle, but this kind of a ending today, if we can get fully reclaimed by the end of the day today, it's a tall order, but maybe it happens. Then it could kick off a nice green week next week, which will green over red on the weekly by the end of next week or even the week after. Could set up a shelf, which takes 4 weeks or 5 weeks. That's the W part. I could shelf it. And it all started today, And if it doesn't, hey, we gave it our best shot. I'm up 1.5 grand at the moment, 1.75% across everything. And we gave it our best shot. And, that's the best you can do. Right on. All right, I'm going to shut down the TikTok live. Thanks, everybody, for following. Make sure you go over to my YouTube or the group or the link in my bio, etc. If you want to continue right now. I'm going to continue for a few more minutes with the group here, but I'm going to end the TikTok live. All right, the TikTok live now. SoFi, new highs. Put up on our radar, kind of like a lot of the shit we're in. Some of the best. Let's go from best to worst. ACRH, HR, rather. And then Rivian is up there. Cola. So what we're basically doing is now we're going to be watching our 8 best positions, and maybe even one of the worst ones. I'll put CCL down here. And it's actually doing well. Did I put SoFi? Yeah, no, not yet. SoFi doing well. Carvana. I mean, look at that. A beautiful uptrend on all these entries, dudes. Palantir. What I don't have here is Uber. But there's just not enough room for everything. But it's just gorgeous. Look at that. This is what we're in. Talk about picking stocks and picking the right day. And would I have gone full size when we were extended or at an extended point on the market? Hell no. I would have gone a quarter size or less. The reason why we've been able to go full size on this is because we could be hitting bottom. That signal we're getting that reading. Back to monitoring the market. The market made that new high and is, now oscillating. It's doing its thing. We want to see it grind up to, I'll draw the line, yesterday's low, which I believe was 358.16. 358.16. We got a little bit of a ways to go, but we're getting there. Remember what I said before? We were only 10% of the way there. Let me point this out. Let me draw this out. We're talking about we need to get to 358.18, which is roughly right here. Let me try to make a straight line. This thing doesn't make a straight line anymore, but I'll just kind of do my best. This is the point, and after hours we dipped around it. This is the point we want to try to get to. Here's the low of the day down here. And, remember we were only 10% of the way there when we were looking at it earlier. We're now more than halfway. We're like 65% of the way there, 2/3 of the way there. It's looking quite probable now that we bonk the reclaim here. It's just boop. It's going to turn this candle. Well, it is already blue, but blue in the best reclaim signal that we could be asking for. And then, if I go over to S&P 500, we have a similar looking thing going on. So SPY, some of these levels just like automatically drew themselves, but it's more like that. Yeah, very interesting. SPY, the S&P 500 is actually 75% of the way there already. 75% of the way there to the proper signal on the market for reclaim. The signal will stay even if we pull back from there. The signal stays. We would need the market to close like 60% bullish for it to have clicked the signal and still be bullish. It could be 51%. That'd be the worst. But sometimes even with these with reclaim signals, it can even be a bearish candle and have done that. And then the next day it gaps open, next week it could be flying. So, it's really great. We don't necessarily need to stay above that level, but that will be the ideal. That will be fantastic. And in fact, we have 55% more volume today being projected by end of day on the market, S&P 500. And let's take a look at the Qs. And 81% more volume today than average projected by end of day on the market. So this is a significant day. And most of the stuff we got in are having high RVol days. Let's look at like Carvana, for example. Let's see if that's true. Reclaim days don't always do that. But in fact, Carvana not. Because reclaim days are like sneak entries. ACHR, yes, 375% RVol. Actually like 500% RVol. Depends on what metrics you're using. TTOO with a definitely above average day, almost 200% RVol. It's right at 100% RVol by the end of the day. So, a lot of these putting in strong volume today. Looks like we're getting some strong pullback on Palantir and CCL, very interesting. SoFi, these are the ones that tested our faith before, and they're now 50% retracing that little rally that they just went through, and even 80% retracing on Palantir. A lot of weakness on CCL and Palantir, and we know this. These are our worst looking ones, worst behaving ones, and they've got to be on like high alert throughout the swing if this holds up. But they're putting us through the most hell on this market pullback that's happening right now, on this market oscillation. I'm going to have some breakfast. So, we're good. Everybody good? Monitor your positions. Defensive as hell. Use all the rules, everything we've learned. Stay safe. Cut what's not working if you have to before it gets worse. Keep what's working because it's working. ACHR with quite a pullback. Hang on. ACHR breaking pivot. That's not good from a leader. I'm going to go ahead and cut ACHR here, take some of those profits, get back in later if it reclaims. ACHR, I'm cutting. That's the only one of all these that has broken a pivot intraday. And very strange because that was the strongest. That was one of the strongest. But fine. All right. Yeah. Have a great weekend, everybody, if I don't talk to you again. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you back in the group, though. Please be very active in the group. This is a very important day. Let's stay on top of all these opportunities and keep each other in balance and in check. All right. See you in the group.